Good morning. Welcome to Workforce Skills with John Morse. Another day out here in Phoenix, Arizona. Last week, we had the opportunity to have all the girls of PHP Commercial Painting on here that work for me. It was really interesting having that group of girls in here. And I didn't realize it until right before we were recording that between all of them, there were 61 and a half years in prison. And I think two of them in there, well, including my wife, three that never went to prison or got locked up. You know, so it shows you that you can be successful. You can change. You can have a better life if you put one foot in front of the other and you focus on what's best for you. And it's interesting because, you know, here I am teaching class on Monday and Tuesdays are my long days. I'm at the office at 4:30 in the morning. I don't get home and in bed till 9 o'clock at night because I'm teaching class. And last night's class, because today's Wednesday morning, and so last night class was basically about relationships in the workplace. We go over budgeting, and I want to focus on the relationship situation for a little bit here. I've had my wife on a previous podcast in here, and we talked about how we work together, how we make it happen. You know, we have ground rules. We set things in place for us. And right now I've got an employee that's really struggling. And it's tough when you're an addict or a recovering addict and you're going through a relationship. And when things get tough, we have a tendency as addicts to look at, hey, what's the easy way out? I'm going to go get high. I'm going to make myself feel comfortable for a while because I'm uncomfortable. You got to get comfortable being uncomfortable all the time because that's what it takes to be successful. That's what growth is. That's what progress is. That's how we move on to the next step in our life. But the one thing I teach in the class, and this is something I'm going to tell everybody out there, if you're a recovering addict, if you're someone that's come out of prison, I preach this till I'm blue in the face. I want you to focus on you and your job for the next 6 months. Don't get in a relationship. You don't have time for that right now. You're getting your life back on track. You're focusing on what you need to do to fix you. How can you continue to fix yourself? How can you continue to grow? And at the same time, you're going to fix somebody else because you're bringing in other problems. You're bringing other issues. You can't have that in your life. And that's a situation that one of the girls is going through right now within our company. And if you're working your ass off, if you're showing up to work and, you know, some of the people that work for us, they live in halfway houses. They live in sober living situations. And so we help them with rides to work. Part of that help is sometimes they get a ride to the office. They're here an hour and a half before they're clocking in, and then they get a ride to the job site. That's just what it is. That's part of getting back your life in order. You've got to take certain steps to get to where you want to be, and there's sacrifices you have to make. And some of those sacrifices means you're going to be gone from home for 12 hours a day, and you're only working 8 hours. That just might be what you have to deal with. But that's the price you're paying to get back in order, get back on track to where you need to be. Now, if you've got someone at home and you're in a relationship and you're dealing with this and they're in the back, the static, the nagging, you're never home, you're never here with me, you're spending too much time at work, then that's not a healthy relationship because you need to have that hard conversation up front that, hey, here's what I'm going through. I'm an addict. I'm recovering. If we're going to be in a relationship, you got to understand this is what I need to focus on. This is what I need to do to get better. This is what I need to do for my growth to progress and get out of whatever I've been in the past. Because for some of the men and women that work for me, this is their very first job they've ever had. They're 30, 40, 50, 60 years old, and this is the first real job they've ever had. And it's in construction, it's painting, and it's a hard job. So knowing that, there's going to be sacrifices. There's got to be things that you've got to say, I've got to make a change, and this is what I have to do. If I'm going to do this to be successful, I've got to do whatever it takes to better myself. And if somebody's in a relationship with you and they cannot understand that, that's not a healthy relationship. You need to be upfront with it in the very beginning. You need to let them know what you're going through, what your goals are, and what you're focused on and where you're going. And I get it that for some people, they've been locked up for so much time or they've been homeless. They haven't had a relationship. They haven't had that companionship, that love, that feeling. But I tell you what, if you haven't had it for that long, what's another 6 months? 6 months. Be selfish. Focus on you and your job and get yourself right. Get yourself healthy. And for a lot of the men and women we hire out of the program that we hire out of, they're in my vocational class at New Freedom. They're there for 90 days. So they've been locked up for years. They go for 3 months in this program, 6 more months. That's 9 months to focus on you, your success, and getting yourself better, getting your head right, getting your heart right. And I promise you, when it's time for a relationship, the right one will come along. You don't have to go out hunting for it. You don't have to go looking for it. You don't have to grab onto the first one that shows you some affection, some emotion, because typically that's not the best one for you. You don't need to do that. Fix yourself. Get yourself right. It's funny because some of the guys that work for me, you know, they're doing well. They're starting to make money, and then all of a sudden a girl shows them a little attention, and now all of a sudden they're going backwards because they're spending all their money on the girl. They're not saving like they should. They're still in a halfway house. You're on a date. After the date, you can't go back to the halfway house. You can't bring a girl there. You can't do this kind of stuff. Get yourself in a position to where you're ready for a relationship. Get yourself some money in the bank, get yourself an apartment, move on, and get yourself right. It takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. But I think the one thing we have to do is when we have a plan, when we look at something, a goal that we want in life, and we want to make it happen, are we 100% there? Are we willing to do whatever it takes to make these goals happen? Are we willing to be selfish for ourselves to make this happen for ourselves? And, you know, there's certain goals that I have in my life. There's certain goals for my business I have. And I have to be selfish with that. I have to push. I have to put in the hours. I've got to do whatever it takes. But me and my wife are on the same page. We understand this. We have rules. We know what we're doing. We know we're only talking about work to and from work. We don't talk about it at home unless a phone call comes through. It's not healthy for the relationship to be all consumed in everything with this business. We spend 24/7 together. There has to be some downtime. There has to be time where you don't take the work home. You have to have other things in your life. You got to go out for a date night. You got to have dinner. You got to, there's things at home. When we come to work, there's things I have to do. There's things she has to do. When we go home, it's the same, but we work together. We make it work. We're compatible. It's not like, you know, it's funny. Everybody thinks, oh, I need this relationship and I got to cuddle all the time or be with her and do this. No, it doesn't have to be that 24/7. Just like you're not going to go to work 24/7. You know, right now there's someone I'm dealing with here at work, and the only thing that is helping her, she says, to stay sober is this job. It's keeping her sane. It's keeping her on track. You cannot have that. If work is the only thing that's keeping you on track, you can't do it 24 hours a day. You work 8 hours a day, maybe a little overtime. Maybe you work 9 or 10 hours a day. What do you do with the rest of the day? What do you do with the rest of that downtime? The problem a lot of us have is we get up in our heads. We overthink shit. We get that downtime. We have nothing to fill up that emptiness, that empty time, and that's where we get in trouble. And then a girl comes along or a guy comes along, and it gives us that warm, fuzzy feeling, and we think that's that void that's going to fix it for us, and it doesn't. It doesn't work that way. If you have downtime and you're not working and you're an addict, you got to find something to keep you busy. I teach this in class time. I'm blue in the face, and some people just can't understand this. You have to have other hobbies, other things that keep you busy. You have to have other things to entertain you. You know, one of the other girls that works for me, she goes, John, I live a boring life and I love it. I'm content. I work, I go home, I clean, I watch TV, I read a book, I do whatever I need to. And I'm comfortable with this. I'm never going back to my old life. I'm happy with this. For the first time in my life, I feel content and I'm where I'm supposed to be. And she's growing in the company. She's moving up, and it's awesome to watch this. But you cannot make one thing your sole purpose to keep you sober. You cannot have one thing that's your sole purpose to keep you on track for whatever goals you're trying to reach. You have to have other things in your life, whether it's church, whether it's going to meetings, AA, NA, whatever you need in your life to keep yourself focused, that's what you have to do. Go to the gym, work out, go find a club, go hiking, go do something, go ride a bike. You have to find other things to consume your time. When we get bored and we're sitting there, we have nothing to do, we get up in our heads, we overthink stuff, we blow things out of proportion. I've done it many, many times. I'm still working on myself as far as overthinking things. I'll have a situation at work and I'll think, okay, I can't deal with this right now. I need to go home. I need to sleep on this. I need to think about it and I'll deal with it tomorrow. And by then I've thought about a thousand different scenarios, how it's going to work out. And I overthought the situation to the point where I come in the next morning and I got to deal with it. And it goes a completely different way than I even thought it was going to go. And it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I blew it out of proportion in my head and I didn't even need to. And that's where we overthink stuff. We've got to slow down and focus on what's right for us, what we need in our lives. And I'm telling you, it's for the majority of men and women that come out of prison, come out of addiction, get a gym membership. That's one of the first things I'm going to tell you I think you should do, other than getting a job. Once you've got the job, get the gym membership. But John, I'm so tired when I get home. I don't want to do it. Find a way to make it work because you need to fill up that time. Yeah, you're so tired, but then you go home, you get bored, you overthink stuff, and now you get in a relationship, things go bad. Now you're breaking up or you're having problems, you're having issues, and now what's your first go-to? It's to go back to using, and we can't do that. We have to find other things to fill that void. Some of my worst moments in work here, some of my biggest problems, I go to the gym, man, I'll work twice as hard. I overpush myself sometimes. And it all comes out while I'm doing it. And there's times where my trainer and my wife will look at me and it's like, John, slow down. Dude, you're out of control. You're pushing yourself too hard. No, I got this. I need to work this out. And whether it's right or wrong, it's what works for me. It gives me an outlet to get this emotion out, this aggression, this energy, whatever's bothering me out at the gym. And it's healthy for me. Last year, we've been working with our trainer now since April, and here we are in February. And up to the end of December, we were only doing an hour a day. Now we're up to an hour and a half a day. And that's the new norm for me. And we push and we grind. And there's days like today, I went to the gym this morning with my trainer, and I got to be honest. I told him, I go, dude, you pushed me too hard the last 2 days. I'm going to be a whiny little guy right now. And I go, every time I whine, I just want you to know that's a compliment to you for pushing me to be better. And it's having someone around me that's accountable. And I'm going to say right now to the men and women that work for me, if you're watching this and you go out and use and say, oh, I didn't have anybody to call, BS. You had everybody you could call. You have me you can call. If I know you're struggling out there and you're about to use and I got to come pick you up, call me. I will drop everything I'm doing right now and come get you. If somebody called right now that was in trouble while I'm doing this podcast, I would shut this down and leave and come back and re-record. I'm there for the people that work for me to keep them on track. But I tell you what, this person slipped up. They came clean. We UA'd them. I'm giving them a chance. You got 2 weeks to clean up and step up your game and do something different. Figure this shit out. The relationship has to stop. You got to figure out what's wrong with you. And in 2 weeks, hey, you know what? It's up to them whether they want to make it or not right now. And after that, I'm out. I'm done. I can't help everybody, and I can't be there every single time you screw up, because there comes a point to where this is no longer a hand up and you're just looking for a handout, and that can't happen. You've got to be willing to help yourself to get better. If you can't help yourself, who's going to be there? People are going to get tired of it. Okay, here they go again. They're trying again. Let's see if they make it this time. Make this the time that's going to be the one that works. But only you can do it. People can sit around you. I can talk to them blue in the face. Unless you truly believe you can make it, it's up to you. You know, and I know I've talked about the addiction and other situations like this in the past, but I think I hit a point to where I do so much for everybody. There comes a point to where I start wearing down. I start getting frustrated. I start telling myself, man, when are they going to wake up and start doing the right thing? It has to come to a point to where this is it. This is the moment that I'm changing. And find why you're doing this. Why is this the moment that you're going to change and it's going to work for you? You've got to make it happen. I don't care. You can, for my kids, for my parents, for my job, for this, for my relationship, just do it for you. Aren't you tired of being tired of going down that same path nonstop? Wake up. I don't care if you got to bang your head against the wall to wake up, but make something change this time. This has to be the moment that you're done with all the bullshit. You have to move forward. It's and for me, I'm always going to do what I have to do to help people. I'm always going to be there for the ones that are working for me if they need me. But man, just yesterday I found out that there was a guy in my class 6 months ago, came through the painting program. He just OD'd and died on Saturday. And I can't remember his name. I can't remember his face. And it's not the first one. It's not going to be the last one. It happens every single day. Someone's going to die from an overdose. Hey, you know what? It's wake up. When are you going to realize this is not the life that you want to live? I love my life. Yeah, I've got problems. Yeah, I've got issues. There's always something going on. That's life. Life is going to smack you in the face, but it's how you get up from it and how you challenge yourself to continue to progress and continue to push forward. You cannot stop me. I am self-motivated. I'm going to push myself to the point to where sometimes it's almost dangerous. Even my trainer, I tell him, push me till I break. Because how do I know how far I can go? I'll heal from it. I'll push farther. I'll keep going. But you got to push. You got to keep grinding. You got to make something change. Something has to click in your head and say, enough is enough. It's time to grow the fuck up and move forward. It's over. It's done. I'm tired of this life. I want something better for myself. I want to do something with my life before it's over. You know, for me, I know I joke with my wife and I talk about retirement's not in my vocabulary. I'm going to work till the day I die. But man, I want to know that when I'm long gone, I made a difference here. I want to know that people were able to change their lives because of the help that I gave them. And I know I'll never know the true number because there's a trickle down effect. How many people have I helped and now they're helping others? We can help and we can talk till we're blue in the face, but you have to want to do it. If you're out there listening, if you're hearing this podcast and you follow me, or maybe somebody said, hey, you got to listen to this guy, man, he's speaking to you right now. Maybe you're the one that needs to hear this. Maybe now's the time where you go get yourself help, or it's time to wake up. It's time to do something different. Maybe you don't need rehab. Maybe you have some minor issues, some minor problems, but this is what you need. This is that swift kick in the ass that I'm giving you right now to make a change, to do something different. You have to do it. You have to stop all the bullshit, all the crap you're going through, and don't give me this poor me or, well, I'm waiting for this moment. No, do it now. Well, I got to wait till this and the timing has to be right. And then I'm going to go get help or I'll go do it. Stop it. You're procrastinating. That's all static. Now is the moment that you make that change. Now is the moment that you have to do something different. I can't tell you how many guys have told me, oh, I'm going to do it this time, John. I'm going to make it. And they don't. A week later, they're gone. I've hired people out of my program, out of our vocational class, and within 1 week, they're gone. They're back on the streets, or they do something stupid to get locked up again. It's ridiculous. Aren't you tired? Aren't you ready to do something different and move on with your life? You know, I know it sounds like I'm angry, and maybe I am. Maybe I'm a little frustrated right now because it's starting to wear on me. This is really wearing on me because I do so much for so many people, and sometimes it feels thankless. And I know the men and women that work for me, they love the job. They love what they have. They're creating a new lives for themselves, but and I appreciate it. And for me, I hear, oh man, because of you, John, my life has changed and because of the program. No, I just showed you the way. I just showed you how to do it. It was in you all the time. It's in every single person out there to do better. But the problem is we don't know. We just can't do it. Either we're lazy, we procrastinate. It's time to step up your game. I've got a couple guys working for me that have been working for me for quite some time out of the program, and I feel like they're not progressing as painters. It's time to have that hard conversation that, hey, it's time to step up. And there's two people in particular right now in the company that I've had conversations with, my superintendents, my project managers, and it's now time to put your foot up their butt and make them move. It's time for them to grow and progress and become better. If not, one person has 2 weeks to perform, and either they're going to be asked to leave the company. They're not growing. They're not getting better. They're when I walk out there and I watch how they're working, it almost looks like they're lazy, like they just don't care. Like they're just going through the motions. You're never going to grow. You're never going to progress like that. You have to push yourself. Another person I just gave 30 days. You got 30 days to get this figured out and start progressing. I'm going to have everybody pushing you. Whatever you're doing right now, I want you to work twice as hard. I want you to get twice as much done. You are not performing to the best of your ability. You're not even performing to some of our halfway decent painters. There's a lack of quality. There's a lack of quantity of what they're doing, and it's time to change. It's time to grow up. I think that's part of the problem too. It's like we're dealing with grown-ass people here that act like they're children. It's time to grow up and be the adult you're supposed to be. Adulting isn't easy. It's difficult. You got bills, you got requirements, you got stuff you have to do. You have responsibilities now. Be responsible. Do what you need to do to grow and become better. And quit with the lame-ass excuses. Quit with the laziness and push yourself to become better. 1% every day. That's all you got to do. Just get 1% better. If I've got somebody working for me and they just improve 1% every day, man, in 100 days, it's impressive. I've seen it happen. How can one person do it and another person not? It's all about your motivation. I can't be there to motivate you every day. You have to find what motivates you and drives you to become better. You got to be tired of being tired. You got to be comfortable being uncomfortable and push yourself to be a better person. You don't need whatever the addiction is. There is nothing out there that's going to control me. I will control everything I do. I want to be in control my entire life. There's nobody that's going to control me. There's no addiction that's going to control me. I control me. I'm in charge of my life. When are you going to get in charge of your life? When are you going to take charge and finally make a change and get a better life that you deserve? Because everyone deserves it. It's just up to you whether you want it bad enough or not. I hope this message hits home. I hope this podcast hits you in a different way this time because, frankly, I'm pissed. I'm tired of this. It's time for everybody to grow up and start being an adult and making a change in your life. Once again, guys, I want to thank you for joining me. Stay hungry.